I am Carlo Fioletta, and I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about what's my take on the Katt Williams interview on Club Shay. For those who might be watching this on my YouTube channel, you can look for that on YouTube and search for Katt Williams Unleashed on Club Shay, spelled Shay, and the interview was done by Shannon Sharp. The interview is 2 hours and 46 minutes. And I got to start by saying I've hated Shannon Sharp since the Baltimore Ravens beat the Giants in the Super Bowl. But Sharp does a good job interviewing. And he and Katt Williams start off by drinking some cognac, which is acknowledged to be fine cognac. And they talk about comedians getting free drinks at the clubs and becoming either connoisseurs or drunks. One thing I will mention, as an old saying, drunk lips can speak a sober mind, and I think that is something that happens here. Katt Williams mentioned Larry King, rest in peace, who I personally do miss as an interviewer, and a kind of nerdy guy, but really had an interest in his subjects, and I think Shannon Sharp does have that quality also. Mr. Sharp does more listening, and Katt Williams does get to rant and rave quite a lot. So he talks about the movie Friday After Next, and there are a couple of key points. Ricky Smiley saying that he originally got the Money Mike role, and talking about a rape scene, which I agree is never funny. Certainly it can be horrifying. There's a scene like that in The Sopranos, and the Italian American is my cultural background, and no matter what, male or female, gay or straight, rape is a crime of aggression, and it's not a funny thing. Katt mentioned auditioning, being number 201 in an audition room. I can say from personal experience with Actors Equity, I'm pretty sure sometimes that they know who's going to get the role, and the whole audition process is really just pro forma for the sake of union rules. So yeah, I think there he started to get pretty angry. Shannon Sharp said that he might not let Katt Williams drink anymore. Katt Williams mentioned that Cedric the Entertainer's four specials are not available on Netflix or Tubi. I might follow up later looking for clips on YouTube or something. But I did look at the Kings of Comedy years ago. I'm not gonna say that it's exactly my style of thing. I did watch Katt Williams' recent Netflix special, and I think he is very funny and very smart and very honest. And he did put up money for his own tours and did make money. So he's a smart guy. Um, Katt Williams talks about one particular comic who can't read, and that's why he's not cast. I can imagine that happening. I know Tom Cruise has dyslexia. I think things can be overcome, but it's a question about how big a name you are, how big a name you make yourself. Um, when Williams talks about rumor makers who say he did drugs and there's no evidence, I would believe that. I mean, it's just like anyone could start a rumor, but it does come down to the evidence, just like in a court of law. He talks about touring with comedians who are funnier than him. Know from watching a bunch of other comedians, Mike Birbiglia, among others, that there is a kind of handshaking, and it's interesting to see new generations come and go. I think where it maybe goes crosses a line a little bit when we start talking about the wives of some of these comedians being whitewashed and having plastic surgery and stuff. And then he talks about being on God's side. I personally am an atheist. I think lies are being exposed as something I can agree with. I don't know if these women did in fact have plastic surgery or get whitewashed. I mean, it was a sad thing to see with Michael Jackson. I personally don't believe in plastic surgery unless it's something really horrible, an accident or something. But to each his own or her own, and I thought that kind of took away from the interview. I got to give Shannon Sharp credit for being patient and listening, and actually kind of have a pretty gentle and funny character, aside from how devastating he was on a football field years ago. And when Katt Williams' temper flares, Shannon Sharp is able to diffuse things just saying, "We good now?" So there's some other things that go on with the ranting and raving, talking about when Katt Williams discusses wardrobe on these different things. I'm not sure that that was his purview, and that might have actually hurt his movie career somewhat. So he mentions Kevin Hart. I know Kevin Hart comes from Philadelphia, so where lines get crossed between Philadelphia and L.A. I think in this generation, he might be more similar to Adam Sandler, who I know went from Long Island and New York comedy clubs out to L.A. and then got offered a movie role almost right away. And I did watch that movie, Overboard. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest movie, but it was a start. I just saw another Kevin Hart movie called Lifted on Netflix last night, and Kevin Hart is one of the producers, so maybe that's what Katt Williams has to do is start getting into producing movies. So anyway, I'm gonna just kind of wrap up here because he talks about being stadium comedians and things like that. And my last comment is to maybe look at Steve Martin, who went from being a stadium comedian to being a movie dad long before he was a real life dad. And he continues on TV now with Only Murders in the Building. And maybe Katt Williams kind of has to find a friend like Steve Martin found Martin Short and something. So hopefully that happens for him because I think he's a really funny guy, a smart guy, and I think he's been hurt, which we all do get. But I think maybe if he funnels some of his money into producing movies rather than just comedy tours, he can do something for himself. And I do look forward to seeing him on movies again and Netflix specials. And I'm just going to wrap up here because of time constraints for this audition that he mentioned Cedric the Entertainer stealing jokes. There's plenty of YouTube videos of comedians stealing other comedians' jokes. Now it's just so ubiquitous that you can catch anybody and call them out. So I think the person who gets stolen from in the end will benefit more than the person who does the stealing. So thanks for listening. I'm going to wrap up here and maybe you'll use me. Good luck in your project and take care. Bye. Carla Fioretta here.